Okay, I was out here. It was almost 8:30. It was almost time to go back into school. And I was standing on this side where I usually stand. And I noticed that there's a mother and a daughter who usually walk the son, who is a kindergartner, to school. And they were actually coming back this direction. When I noticed them coming, I waited for there to be a break in traffic. And I stepped out with my stop sign held the way I'm supposed to. And I was in the middle with my feet planted. I had my stop sign up like this where it could be seen both ways, but my back wasn't to the traffic. I waved the little girl on. They know that I have to be in the middle before that can happen. So I waved the little girl on. She stepped off the curb and headed this way. And I looked to the side, my right. The cars coming from this side had for sure stopped. I recognized one of my former students, but I noticed down here that there was a white car coming and he was approaching rather fast. As he got closer, I realized there was no way he was going to be able to stop in time. So I screamed for the little girl and took off running towards her. As I took off running towards her, I think I scared her enough that she froze, but she was still too far out in front of her mother. Her mother tried to reach for her, and she was still too far out. So I started screaming and running towards her again and waving my stop sign. That, I guess, got the driver's attention because at that point he swerved to keep from missing her, and instead he hit me on my knee. I immediately jumped up because I thought the little girl had been killed. I didn't know she was so little until the car passed through and I was on my feet. So I didn't really even think about being hit. I just jumped up. I saw her mother holding her and I took off running after the car because he still had not stopped. He stopped quite a ways down the road this direction, and when I got to his window he told me that he was sorry, he couldn't see. I asked him why he was not doing the speed limit. It was a school zone, and he just said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't see because of the sun," and continued to drive off.
This is the first time you've been hit, but you said there's been some near misses.
There have been several near misses, and more often than not, it's coming from this direction because the parents, if it is a parent, they dropped off their kids and they're just thinking about the next big part of their day. Maybe they're running late, they're on their cell phones, and they just aren't paying attention. I know that the sun is a factor, but I usually have on a bright yellow reflective vest. And I also have my stop sign, and so I think it's pretty hard to miss when I'm in the middle of the crosswalk. But a lot of times they'll see me step off the curb and they'll speed up to try to beat me. If they don't make it, they'll come right up. They're supposed to be 100 feet out, and they'll come right up instead. Until I always wait till the kids get all the way up on this curb here, because there's kind of a big area, and a lot of times the littler kids will drop their bikes or they'll fall off of a scooter and they fall into the street. So I stay out there, and the cars will come up anyway, and when they see that the kids are more on this side than the other, they take it upon themselves to come on through the crosswalk. So it has been very dangerous. There's been one other time that I've actually had to grab a child and toss them into the ditch with me. The other times it's usually just me. That's why I have kind of made the rule of I have to be in the middle with my feet planted. I will wave you across. Otherwise, you just stay right there because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And finally, what message would you have for motorists at any of the schools in the area?
Oh my goodness, just slow down, you know, be cautious. I mean, just like here at Stone Ridge, I know it happens everywhere, but we have one neighborhood here. There's no missing that there's a school here. And that speed limit is 25 for a reason. And certainly if you cannot see because the sun is in your eyes, then you should be going even slower. You know, if you can't see, then you need to be extra safe. And certainly not speed up, and you know, just be respectful. I mean, you know, most of the people here have kids, and you know, what if it was your child? What if your child was a walker and this happened? You know, you wouldn't want that. And this person is fortunate that did hit me, that it was not more serious than it was. But I can't imagine living my life knowing that I had hit or that I had killed somebody, especially a child. And I just think that people need to be more cautious, you know, and think of how they would feel, put themselves in my shoes, put themselves in these other other children's shoes and think about, what the consequences